Hey everyone, this is Tycoon Wibbit, and today we will be talking on and over the personal IST. Yes, the IST created for you, for you. And yes, that begins with our first variable, the personal fiat to crypto, the PFC. Because the first question we ask after we have decided, hey, I'm going to tokenize myself, we have to decide, what is a respectable number that I can push to the network? What is in my budget that I can push to my token holders each and every month? And that is our personal fiat to crypto, yes? Because we're going to take some fiat cash here, yes? We're going to turn it into some Bitcoin cash, and we're going to pay our token holders an income, yes? So it's literally fiat to crypto. And you must decide it. And yes, in this example, we see that we have decided the Benji USD. And that brings us to our yearly income payment, the YIP. Yes, and we see that the YIP is the PFC for 1 year, whether it's by weeks or whether it's by months. Yes, and that brings us to the IST time duration. How long is this IST going to be? Yes, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. We put forth that it should be at least from 2 to 10 years. We put 10 years at the max, yes. But once again, it is your decision. As we say right here, yes, do what thy will. But we say 10 years max. And that brings us to the total fiat to crypto. What does it look like when we're sliding this over years and years and years? It's the total of it. And we see, yes, to calculate the TFC, we have the ITD times the YIP is equal to the TFC. And we see, yes, we have the static values for the PFC, and we have our years increasing up to 10, and we have our YIP, how much we'll be pushing to the network in a year, and we have how much we will push to the network over the ITD. Yes, and in this example, we have chosen 4 years, and we will be pushing 4.8 to the network. And since I'm going to push 4.8 to the network, well, what do I get? Yeah, what can I get today for those long tomorrows for that 4.8 thousand? And that brings us to the personal crypto raise, the PCR, instead of the VCR, yes? And we see that, yes, the PCR is equal to X% of the TFC. And in order to calculate the PFC, well, yes, to make a good decision on the PCR, yes, we see that we got this partial tycoon Wibby table here, and we always promote the 60% on the deal, yes, so that would give us a personal capital raise of 2.8 thousand, yes, Benji a month, pretty all right, yeah, and we'll do that over the next 4 years. And after we figure out what we get to see what the token holders will split. And at our 60%, that 2.8, the investors will be divvying up amongst themselves the 1.9. Yes, as we see, the hashtag TMI is equal to the TFC minus the PCR. And that lets us get to the next question we're going to ask ourselves is, well, how many tokens do I get, Bob? Yeah. And we see that, yes, the hashtag T is the PFC divided by the div coin. Here in America, we got the penny, the nickel, the dime, and so forth, yes. And we see that if you're pushing a Benji to the network per month, your max is 10,000 tokens. That's pretty nice. You can do whatever capital raise you like on that 10,000. But of course, we walk through the Tycoon Wibby table to see which div coin actually makes sense. And that brings us to the starting token price. I'm aware of how I can be locked into my tokens. Yes, man, what is that going to cost per those lockups? Yeah. So we see that for the penny, it's 29 cents, 144 for the nickel. Yes, because the STP is equal to the PCR divided by the hashtag T. These are 10,000 people to raise 2.8 thousand. 29 cents a person, huh? And that brings us to the MPTC. We say it that way because we're going to keep saying it that way till it's really, really low, and we're going to be saying the MPTC. Yes, because it's so low, we're happy about it. And yes, we remember that the MPTC is equal to the hashtag T times the transaction fee. And this is where we comprehend that we are dealing with a simple model. Yes, because the hashtag T is one token, one person. But we comprehend in life it will be much more dynamic than that. But we need something, yes? And this is the something that we have, the MPTC. And yes, we see that for the penny, the MPTC is 45 bucks. So I'm going to push a Benji to the network, and it's going to keep 45 of my bucks. Yeah. So maybe the penny's out. But that nickel sure does look nice with just $9 going to the network. Yeah. And so that brings us to the actual income paid, the AIP, because we remember that once you pay the PFC, you incur the MPTC and end up with the AIP. Yes? And we see that, yes, here with the penny, we'll actually be pushing 55 to the network and 91, and we'll be getting closer and closer as we go up in our div coin to pushing more in the AIP. But yes, let us scroll back up again and see the relationship of the STP. And we see as the STP, these are all still pretty nice prices, yeah. And we'll come back down here and go look at the my IST payment for the personal IST. And let's calculate the MIP. And of course, the MIP is equal to the AIP divided by the hashtag T. That tells us what everyone's really going to get in their wallet. Yes, and because of the way that we copied and pasted here, it estimated up to the full centage, so it looks like it's getting all of the penny that's sent. And of course, we have template Tycoon Wibby tables where you can go and let it display the decimal places in your favorite way. Yeah. And yes, we see that MIP is pretty good. And that brings us to the platform cost, because we love Memo.cash. We love it. And it has a platform fee of 1.5%. And of course, yes, in order to calculate the TPC, we say that yes, the TPC is equal to the TPF times the STP. And so we see that we're getting these very small numbers for the STP, but they do ratchet up. Like 4 cents, that's huge. Yeah, that's huge, man. All the numbers should look like this. Yeah. But we deal with what we have to deal with, and it's in the bigness that we can have the smallness, yes? And that brings us to the pari. Yes, the pari. Because the personal IST also has the pari. And yes, we remember that the pari is equal to the ITD times the MIP minus the STP plus the TPC. What they gotta pay to get in versus what they get paid out in totality after we have paid the network. And so yes, we see that this will tell the truth of whether this is a token structure that should get bought or a token structure that should get turned down and tell them to, yeah, try again. And so yes, we see that if they tried to come out with a penny, we'd say yes, try again. And if they came out with the nickel, the dime, the quarter, yeah, let me see what structure I really like. I'm good for the nickel, the dime, or the quarter. I'm hesitant about the dollar though. Yeah, I'd pass on the dollar at this structure. And of course, that brings us to our TWT Personal IST BCH blockchain for you right here in your face, with all of its variables, pertinent variables, and all their associative values. Yes. And you see in our particular example, we did the 4-year, so we end up with the PCR and the PFC. Yes. And of course, remember, you can always please go and download the template for the Personal IST TWT so you can comfortably make your own. And yes, that brings us to the FinPic. And as you can see, that is me there in the back, because I think FinPics should have your face on them. They're yours. They're personal. Put your face on it. Yeah. And we have the name here, Tycoon Wibby. Of course, we have the personal, because we like our ISTs labels in their general class. Yes. And we have the QR codes that link me to this particular IST. You can go and check out my TWT by visiting that QR code. Of course, it's uploaded to the IPFS. And after that, we have the template form so that you can go and make your own beautiful, wonderful, personal IST. And this has been the Personal IST by Tycoon Wibby. Thank you. And I love you all. Heaven, heaven.